All right, guys, let's talk about probably the most interesting team coming into this season. It's the Golden State Warriors, and this is the Hoops Nerd Show. Okay, guys, before we get started, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. It just helps the channel grow. I would appreciate it. All right, so the Golden State Warriors, probably the team that, in my opinion, has the biggest variance of any team in the league. Like, if this team goes to the finals and dominates, would anyone be surprised? No. And if this team has a few things go wrong like it did last year and doesn't make the playoffs, I could see that happening as well. Let's talk a little bit about some of the additions to this team, a few variables, and then we'll talk about where I think they'll end up. So anyways, this team had a few things. Probably the biggest addition is someone that didn't even sign with the team or they didn't even trade for. It's Klay Thompson. Last season, right before the season, you have Klay Thompson coming back from an injury and goes down with another season-ending injury. And this season, you're going to have Klay Thompson come back. And if Klay Thompson can come back healthy, he provides that key piece that they were missing last year. What Steph Curry did last year was unreal. Steph Curry is a demon. And he's one of those guys that gets on the floor. And I honestly, I feel like other players in the NBA, other superstars, the LeBrons out there, the Kawhis, and all these other superstars, I feel like when they look at Steph, he's just one of those things. He's so incredibly unique and so good at what he does. And it's just so, you just can't copy what Steph Curry does on the floor. No one else can do what he does. It's hard for other players in the NBA, I think, to kind of, I don't know if the word is understand or respect him, because he's just so different and they just can't replicate what he does. And when Steph Curry's on the floor, he is absolutely the most lethal shooter and scorer in the league. And what he did last year with this team that was Steph, Draymond, and role players, and I guess James Wiseman, was out of this world. It was one of the most impressive performances we've ever seen. And of course they lose in the play-in tournament, but what he did and how scary he was on the floor, with how teams have to take their whole defense just to stop him, and he still scores, is unbelievable. He just showed that he really should be in conversations for best player in the league. He never gets put up there. All the analysts out there will always talk about LeBron or Kawhi or Giannis, and those guys deserve a lot of credit and deserve their clout and respect. But this guy just never seems to get it. And, since his MVP seasons, it's just kind of, people seem to be forgetting the Warriors. And if Klay Thompson comes back and he provides that spacing and gravity that he did before, this team has a chance to be just as good as the Warriors teams from 3-4 years ago, 4 or 5, I guess, before Kevin Durant. The teams that won like 71, 72 games, whatever it was, I can't remember. They are going to be really good if they're healthy. But that's the big question mark. If Klay Thompson comes back and he's like 90% of the player that he was, this team's going to be incredible, because you have Steph Curry, who was playing at an MVP level last year. You have Klay Thompson, who is the perfect complement to Steph. And then you have Draymond Green, who can play at a defensive player of the year level and distribute the ball on offense and get the ball to these guys. And it's a team that can just be just as good as it was. Now, the additions that they make to this team that I thought were actually a little underrated and people need to be talking about a little bit more. We're not going to talk about everything, but I felt like they had a really interesting draft. They have number 7 and number 14. They pick Jonathan Kuminga, who to me is a big upside pick. And upside picks are scary because upside gets GMs fired here and there. Because, you can talk about all the things that Jonathan Kuminga can do, because he has the size, he has the athleticism, and then he has a lot of upside. He showed some nice moments in Summer League and showed that maybe this guy can really turn into something, but it's going to take some time for him. And that's why it was an interesting pick to me, because it had sounded like the Warriors had some players that they were interested in to win now, like I think it was Chris Duarte. We had heard lots of rumors that the Warriors wanted him, and I think they really did. And I think there were, there was just some rumors that they were even trying to trade for him after the draft had happened. They just didn't get him. I think they thought they were going to be able to get him at 14, and in 13 he goes to the Pacers. And, hopefully Jonathan Kuminga can turn into something they want, because Duarte was incredible in the summer league. If you put Duarte on this Warriors team, it'd have been unbelievable. So anyways, they miss out on him at 14. They pick Moses Moody, who I really like. I actually feel like Moses Moody is probably a better pick for the Warriors than Chris Duarte was. Duarte is a player you pick because you know what he can do now, and Duarte is going to be a really good player, but Moses Moody brings size, defense, and shooting, and if they can develop him to be more than just kind of a 3-and-D wing, then that's amazing. But if all he is a very high-level defender that can shoot the ball, that's fantastic for this team, because you're having Steph Curry with the ball, you have Klay Thompson and Draymond Green distributing, and if he can defend at a high level and hit threes, that's big time for this team. That's just, that's exactly what they need. And if he can be a better role player than the players they had before, and you combine that with Klay Thompson coming back, that's fantastic for this Warriors team. So anyways, Moses Moody, Jonathan Kuminga, I really liked it. I really like those moves. They pick up Andre Iguodala in free agency, which was pretty funny. I mean, they just get this guy back that's, I still think he has a little bit in the tank, although he's not the same player he was 3-4 years ago. He's just not. But on this team, they might be able to get that last few drops, those last maybe one good year out of Andre Iguodala. If he can come in and play defense for these guys, and that's all he needs to do, because the shot creation with Steph is incredible. His shot creation is out of this world, and he can also play off the ball. It makes the weaknesses to Iguodala's game not that big of a deal. And Iguodala is just going to play off the bench like he always did anyway, and just play high level defense. One of the signings that I thought was really underrated is Otto Porter Jr. Otto Porter Jr., if he's healthy, has made every team he's been on better, including Chicago. He just hits shots. He's always a plus defender on the floor, and he's a perfect player for this team. He's a guy that I could see playing power forward for them with like small ball lineups with Draymond Green at the center, because he can hit threes. It was 3-4 years ago when Otto Porter was competing for the top 3-point percentage in the NBA. I think he got it, or it was at least top 3. He's a lights-out shooter. The only issue with him is, can he stay healthy? And this season, Otto Porter Jr. is playing for another contract. If he can stay healthy and hit shots and play well, you'll see Otto Porter Jr. probably go somewhere else next year. I can't remember what his contract was. Let me know in the comments, guys. I don't have time to look it up. But Otto Porter Jr. is a fantastic pickup for this team. I was jealous because I wanted him on my team, but he's going on the Warriors. It's a just perfect pickup because he defends. He can defend 3s and 4s. He's a solid defender. He's strong, and he's just a 40+% 3-point shooter. I mean, those are the types of players you want around Steph, and have him, either creating his own shot or having those guys get the ball and hit shots as well. It's fantastic. There's not really any other pickups that they made that are really, in my opinion, that much. Nemanja Bjelica is pretty nice. Just another power forward shooter, so he fits in well. Those are basically the pickups I thought were really interesting. All right, guys, let's take a minute to talk about Manscaped. Attention listeners across the galaxy, all the way from Australia to Houston. Do we have a pube problem? If so, our friends at Manscaped have cleared you for takeoff with their 4th generation and brand new Lawnmower 4.0. There it is in all its glory. Kick your pubes to the next planet with the Performance Package 4.0. The orbits in your pants will feel like you're in zero gravity when you use the best tools for the job from the leaders in male grooming. Join the 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and get your rocket ready for takeoff by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with the code HoopsNerd20. Guys, go use it. It's $20 to $30 off. I've used it myself. It's fantastic. Plus free shipping. You go get this, you get like $20 off. Go use it. Go try it out right now. Go to manscaped.com and just try out the code. You'll be surprised. Let's see. First scheduled for liftoff, new Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer. This spaceship is here to guide you on a journey to trim your body, balls, butt, and even Uranus. Get 20% off plus free shipping with code HoopsNerd20. That's HoopsNerd20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code HoopsNerd20 at manscaped.com. Let's see, for a clean trinity and beyond, your space balls will thank you. Guys, go use it. I appreciate it. It supports the channel. I would really, and if you're, guess what? Go buy some of the boxers. They're incredible. They feel amazing. They're some of the most comfortable boxer briefs you'll ever buy. You will thank me later, especially with that code. Go use it. All right, so before we go on and talk about how far I think they'll be, I think there's one other X factor for this team. Well, there's a couple X factors. I think the big X factor we've already talked about is Klay Thompson. Can he stay healthy? If he can stay healthy, that's huge for the Warriors. If he can stay healthy and play well and play kind of at a plus defensive level, it's going to be difficult with all the injuries he's had, and we'll see how good he is. But at worst, Klay Thompson's going to be an elite shooter. We'll see how high the defensive impact is. But at worst, we've got a great shooter. The other guy that I think is a massive X factor for this team is James Wiseman. How much has he developed? Has he gone and taken a step this next season? I loved Wiseman in the draft. He really brings everything you want. He brings the tools, the size, the athleticism, and like an impressive skill set. The thing is he's just got to develop and be an impact player on the floor. And he just looked like a rookie in his rookie year. He had flashes of really nice things, but it's difficult to become a high-level big in the NBA. It takes time. And you've got Draymond Green who mentors him, but Draymond Green is a demanding leader and mentor. And you hope that James Wiseman can just flourish under that type of mentorship. And if he can, you've got a big-time player for the Golden State Warriors because he can do it. I mean, you look at what happened in Phoenix. It took like 3 seasons before Ayton became what he was last season. DeAndre Ayton and James Wiseman to me are kind of similar bigs because they have the size, the skill set, and the potential. And Wiseman is just like him. Can he develop like Ayton did? And I think he can. He doesn't have like a really pure point guard like Chris Paul that Ayton has that really sets him up to succeed. Wiseman's got to figure out his game, but I love what he brings to the table. He has the potential to be an inside scorer. He has the potential to be a nice shooter, and he showed flashes of that in his rookie year. And he has the size and length and athleticism to be an impact defender and defend the rim. And when you have someone like Draymond Green, who can just be that kind of free safety on defense, getting steals, weak side shot blocking, all those things that Draymond does on defense that make him a defensive player of the year candidate. If Wiseman can be that rim protecting center that can kind of come out to the perimeter when he needs to on the defensive end, then on offense be just a big body, finish pick and rolls, hit some spot up threes if he can. I mean, if he can hit some spot up threes, that's incredible for this team. But also just be a smart player on offense and, a big body with, kind of a little post game too. If he can do those things and develop into like a plus center and just no questions asked starting center for this team, this Warriors team might win the finals. That's the potential of this team. That's what we talked about at the beginning of this video. If Wiseman takes a step, if Klay Thompson is healthy and plays well, and then you have Steph playing at the same level and Draymond the same level they did last year, this team is really versatile and really good. And you have additions like if Kuminga can be good. I mean, what if Kuminga turns out to be a nice player by the end of the season? What if Moses Moody is just like a high-level 3-and-D wing by the end of the year? This team is scary, has scary potential. So anyways, at worst, they're going to be incredibly fun to watch. I'm really hoping they can stay healthy. They're just going to be a blast. Guys, let me know in the comments who you want for my next video. I've seen some other comments for teams you want me to talk about. I'll go through them again. If I missed them, I'll try, but I was excited to talk about the Warriors. Let me know in the comments who we should talk about. Now, let's take a second to talk about our all-stars who make this channel work, who keep the channel going, and who support me, and I appreciate it. You guys are the ones that make a difference, especially this month where we don't have a lot of NBA stuff going on. It's crickets right now. Anyways, let's give a shout out to Kelsey Hamer, the Hammer, and one Anton Warren, Ezekiel Raisibe, my man from down under, JT Buckets Wardell, Austin R. Grant, editor extraordinaire, Eric C., the C stands for champion, Donald Schooley, schooling all of us, DW to CB, Darren Williams to Carlos Boozer, Jorge Arrizaga, mi amigo de abajo, Lee Christensen driving the lane, Ryan Perry, the legend, Justin Time, Justin Ty H, Patrick Akubo, the connoisseur, Robert Hall of Fame, and DW Jazz going all the way. Guys, we said at the beginning, like and subscribe to the channel to support me, to support the growth. Let's get this channel growing, guys. The season's right around the corner. Like I said, comment below if you agree, disagree, who we should talk about next. I will talk to you next time.